Now, whether it be on land or at sea, South Africa's women aren't safe anywhere. As the country takes up the fight against gender-based violence, concerns have been raised by those in the maritime sector. According to the women who live and work at sea, they've been suffering in silence for a very long time. eNCA senior reporter Ayesha Ismail is on the ground with the latest after a two-day GBV seminar in Cape Town, and she joins us now live. Ayesha, you attended the gender-based violence event at sea seminar yesterday and today as well, and got to speak to women, to female seafarers about their experiences at sea.
That is correct. And what's also interesting to note is that for us who work on land, you know, if anything happens in the workplace, you can still go home where you can find some safety and security. Whereas the seafarers, because they are at sea and they confined to a ship, whatever happens to them there, all they need to do is just go into their room, and very often they were telling us yesterday that they're not even allowed to lock their rooms. So we heard from a number of seafarers about their experiences, and this was, of course, a seminar organized by the Department of Transport as well as the South African Maritime Safety Authority, especially for women seafarers to come and talk about their experiences. Now, we heard about sexism, we heard about racism, we heard about bullying and all kinds of abuse taking place on these vessels. And it also comes at a time when young women are encouraged to break into those male-dominated jobs. But this is what one of the women seafarers had to say to us and to the rest of the people at the seminar which took place yesterday.
Senior officers would ask for favors from the cadets, some sexual, so that they can train them and sign their record book. Now, as a young cadet or a young junior officer, you need that record book signed. And so as a young child, you ask yourself, you know, do I have options? And the reporting system on board is so horrible that if the senior officer, who is the captain or the chief engineer, is the one who is your perpetrator, it makes it difficult for you to actually report that or even to discuss it. Another problem being, who will believe me? And the stigma around gender-based violence. Do you want to be labeled as the child that was raped by the captain, that had altercations with the captain? Another question then comes, will I ever get another employment in this company? Because that is also another issue. Young cadets and officers that tend to want to be vocal about these issues fear that they will lose their jobs. Yeah.
So now, Ayesha, having listened to these women, what are authorities saying they're going to do about it?
So the South African Maritime Safety Authority, as the authority, along with the South African Transport and also the Department of Social Development, they got together yesterday, and today SAMSA is going to be paying a visit to a number of these vessels in the Cape Town harbour. Now, the women were saying to us yesterday that a lot of these negative experiences, the GBV, the sexism, the racism, the bullying that they experienced were done on foreign-owned vessels. And so SAMSA officials were going to go to these vessels today to go and find out from the captain and those in charge, to find out from them whether they are aware of this and what they are doing about this. Because what SAMSA was saying, that they cannot allow this to persist, especially now that they have been made aware of the plight of these women seafarers. I mean, Masego, we take things for granted. For instance, some of the women were saying when they enter the ship, they're on these ships for up to 3 months. No provisions are being made for them to dispose of their sanitary towels, for instance. They also say that the boots that they have to wear, the overalls that they wear, are often 3 sizes too big for them. So it makes the industry very unattractive for young women to enter.